Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Coding Here. Today we will discuss one of the microservice concept called inter-service communication. So if you do not have subscribed my channel, please subscribe and share. Okay, let's get started. Suppose I have two services. One is user service and this is font service. Okay, this is user service and this is font service. So in font services, one API is there called get font info. If we will pass the font ID, we can get the font information. So in user, I am a user. Okay, I am an investor. I wanted to invest on one of the fund. So in user service, there is no font information. Font information is available inside font services, but user wants to invest. How he will invest without font? That's why the user service will call to the font service to get the font information. So this is my font services and this is my user services. In font services, I have one API called get font. So if I'll call this API, I'll get the font information. Let's run this application. Okay, application started on 9091. Just test it. This is the API localhost 9091 font get font by ID v1. Now I got the font information. Okay, similarly we have user services. So this is my user services and user services have also one controller. Okay, here one API is there called create investment. Okay, so I'll pass the user ID and as well as I'll pass investment. Okay, if I'll go to investment, I'll pass the fund ID and this investment ID will automatically created and will pass fund ID and then amount will pass, then investment date, then these two things. Okay, unit of purchase, this one will not pass because based on the net asset value will calculate these two field. Is it clear? This is user service and this is font services. The user services wants to connect to the font services. Okay, and then font services will give the response to the user services and in user services I'll write the logic according the data, right? Then how the question is how we are called one service to another service. We can use WebClient. So the WebClient is a tool which is provided by the Spring Boot. So using this WebClient, we can make the HTTP request to the other web services. So WebClient is nothing but is a part of reactive programming model. Okay, so basically what is blocking and non-blocking means? Blocking is nothing but suppose this is one thread and the request came. Okay, when the request came, this thread now it's occupied. Okay, it's not free. Then the request will go for processing. Here suppose processing is happening. So while the processing the request, still it is not free. Okay, once the response will come, then the thread will response back to the client, then only it will be free, then only it can receive the next request. Okay, but this is synchronous, but the asynchronous is suppose this is one thread. Okay, and while the request came and it will go for the processing, when the request will processing here. Okay, so until here what happened, until the processing the request it will be wait. Okay, but here it will be free. Okay, this will be free. Once the response will back, then it will come. So it will like it's a notification. Okay, once the response will come, it will be notified. Okay, then the response will back to the client. So this is nothing but asynchronous communication. Okay, now the thing is how we are using the web client. The first step is we have to add the dependency. Which dependency? WebFlux. WebFlux. This WebFlux is a reactive programming, when we are creating the reactive programming we can use. So basically the main thing is, first we have to add the dependency for WebFlux dependency, then we can create the bin, we can register the bin of the WebClient object. Okay, this is WebClient. Okay, first thing is we'll add the dependency of WebFlux. So let's go to our project. Here central maven, WebFlux, Spring WebFlux. Okay, this is Spring Boot Starter WebFlux. Yeah, this one 3.4.1 I am using. Copy, and here in pom.xml, here I'll add the dependency. Okay, version is not required, we are already using 3.4.1. yes, it is not required, we can remove this one. Okay, now WebFlux dependency added. Now we'll create the WebClient object. So we'll create one configuration packages here, dot config package, and here we'll create one class called WebClient config. So make it as @configuration. Okay, now here we'll create the object of WebClient, public WebClient get WebClient. Okay, WebClient dot builder, then builder. Okay, so this is my parameter, and here I can use it directly, return builder dot build method. Okay, so make it as bin. I'll go to the user controller class. So here in user controller, for this API I'll call the fund services API, right? So inside create account, this is the service, here I'll call the fund services. Okay, so here first inject the WebClient. So WebClient, then I'm using field injection @auto add. Okay, now it's ready. Now I'll call this method of this fund services, this one. Okay, this API I'll call. So in user controller I am passing the investment information. Okay, and in create account one, I'll click this one. First what I am doing, first I am checking here find by ID whether this user is available or not. If it is available, then I just set this investment. Okay, but instead of setting before, what I'll do, if it is present, first thing is I'll call the fund services API. Okay, here I'll call fund service API. Okay, so here how I will call, using WebClient. So WebClient dot, so this is get request, right? If you will check here, this is get request. So WebClient dot get. Okay, here dot URI, we need to mention the URI. Okay, so this URI directly I can pass here inside double quote. Instead of passing one hard code, I'll pass here fund ID. Okay, this is investment. From the investment I can get the fund ID, right? Investment dot get fund ID. Okay, now after setting the URI, I will send the request. To send the request, we'll use retrieve method. Retrieve. Then after retrieve, to get the data. After retrieve, I need the data, right? So we are using body to mono. So it will return one string. Suppose I'll make it a string dot class, so it will return the mono of string, but I'll make it as block. I'm not doing asynchronous here, so I'm using synchronous. Okay, so I just make it as block, so it will return a string value. Okay, string, suppose data. So this is whose data? This is fund information. Okay, fund info. Now the fund info came. So see directly, so before this fund info will use, just I'm just printing here system.out.println fund info. Okay, so here I just restart the server. Okay, this has not started yet, so let's start the server. Yeah, it's done, I think. Yeah, it's done. Now I'll send the request. So this is user services and this is the API create investment. Okay, this is the API create investment. I'm passing user ID, and here I'm passing fund ID is 1, because if you check in fund ID already 1 is there, that's why I'm passing 1 here. Okay, I'm sending. Now we are getting the data. So this one we are getting because of we are hard coding here. Okay, so in the services, use services, here whatever we are passing, just whatever we are passing, same one I am returning. But this one, this two field is 0 0. Okay, so I'll just check the log here. See, fund ID is 1, fund name is this one. Okay, and just make it is bigger. Fund ID 1, fund name is Bank of India something. This is fund name and this is description. Okay, and this is asset type is equity, asset type subcategory is small cap, and expense ratio this one. All these things came, but this is a string format. Okay, so I'll convert to fund class, right? I'll convert to class. So how to convert this string to object? So I can use the object mapper, correct? So I am using object mapper. Okay, so where, okay, now in mapper dot read value. Okay, so here I'll pass the string, this one, this is fund info. Okay, I'll pass this string and I'll convert this string to the particular class. So I have to create one class here. I'll create one package called DTO package dot DTO. Okay, so here I'll create one fund class fund. Okay, so in the fund class we can create all the variables whatever inside in fund services. In fund services, this is entity class, this is fund.java, right? So all this one we can create here. Okay, in this fund.java. So this is available inside user service, not funds. Okay, so I'll create getter and setter. Okay, now ready. Now I'll convert this string to this fund class. Okay, so here I'll mention this fund. Okay, fund. Okay, dot fund dot class. So why it's giving error? Maybe we need to throws the exception. Okay, add throws declaration. Okay, now it will return fund. Okay, this is fund object. Now just sys out fund. Okay, just rerun the application. Oh, why it's giving error is there? Okay, it should be throws the exception. Okay, now restart the server one more time. Here I'll send the request. Okay, 200. If I'll check here, this is font object, this is a string. Okay, this is a string, but this one is font. Okay, now one more way is there. Instead of using object mapper, also we can achieve the same functionalities. Like we no need to use this mapper, just this one also not required. Instead of here body to mono string dot class, I'll mention fund dot class. Okay, this is fund dot class, and this one will return fund. Okay, so this one also work. clear the console. Now send the request. Okay, we'll check here. See, this is a font object. Okay, so now we can achieve this one. Inside body to mono, you can mention the fund, so directly it is deserializing here. Okay, so this way we can call one services to another services. How we'll calculate this two field, unit of purchase and current investment value. The unit of purchase is calculated amount divided by net asset value. Where we'll get the net asset value? Net asset value we can get from here in front information. Okay, so investment dot set of unit of purchase equal to investment dot get amount divided by fund info dot get net asset value. So we can get this one, but here investment dot set, this one I have made, this one is integer. Yeah, this is set of purchase, this is unit of purchase, is integer, so make it as double. Okay, now here I set this unit of purchase, right? Now I'll set investment dot set of current investment value. How we will calculate this one? Will unit of purchase, okay, investment dot get units of purchased, okay, into net asset value. This is fund info dot get NAV. Okay, now it's done. If you will see here, this is the first initial investment, right? So here unit of purchase is 0. Now I am setting this unit of purchase, but if you'll see here, I am directly setting this one as unit of purchase into this NAV price. Unit of purchase is 0, right? 0 into NAV price, it will be 0. That's why what we'll do, we'll create one variable which can store, okay, which can store the unit of purchased, okay, double unit of purchased equal to this one, and here I can pass unit of purchased, and here instead of investment dot this one, you can write like unit of purchased. Okay, it's done. Now let's restart the server. Now if it's check here, this is 0 and 0.0, right? Now if I'll send, see, okay, now the current investment value is this one. So in this way we can call one services with another services. This is called inter-service communication using WebClient. If you have any question, please let me know in comment section. I'll reply. In the next video, I'll tell how we are register our service into the service registry. Okay, in the next lecture I'll discuss the service registry. Okay, thank you everyone.